Even if they're, journey very average at best at what they're doing,
of course,
they thought of themselves as the elites, and yet
none
of these guys are exactly.
AI... Recently, Donald Trump Jr. sat down with vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance for an interview on his podcast. But it wasn't the conversation that caught everyone's attention. It was Jr.'s behavior. Jr. couldn't control his words and was speaking a mile a minute while Vance just sheepishly sat there feeling exceptionally uncomfortable. Now, rumors are swirling about what might have caused Jr. to act that way. Could it have been drugs? Let's take a closer look. On July 22, 2022, Donald Trump Jr. conducted an interview with J.D. Vance, the Republican senator from Ohio and his father's running mate. The interview was expected to focus on Vance's political campaign, but instead, it took an unexpected turn, leaving viewers more focused on Trump Jr.'s behavior than on the content of the conversation. Although Vance was supposed to be the focal point, as the candidate running for public office, it was Donald Trump Jr. who dominated the conversation, barely giving Vance a chance to speak. What caught the internet's attention wasn't just Trump Jr.'s eagerness to talk, but rather the way he was talking. Social media users began to speculate that something was off with Trump Jr.'s behavior during the interview, suspecting that he might have been under the influence of some substance. The interview was shared online by Ron Filipkowski, who pointed out the unusual nature of Trump Jr.'s demeanor. When posting the video on social media, Filipkowski commented that Trump Jr. appeared to be absolutely out of his mind while interviewing J.D. Vance. He clarified that the video hadn't been sped up, emphasizing just how bizarre Trump Jr.'s behavior was during the exchange. During the interview, Donald Trump Jr.'s behavior took a turn for the bizarre, leaving viewers both perplexed and concerned. As he rambled through his thoughts, his speech became increasingly erratic and disjointed. At one point, Trump Jr. launched into a confusing tirade saying, some of them are we don't even want white women. It doesn't, we need to check 3 or 4 boxes. So you can end up in if you're a trans-communist, this, that, and the other, you too can be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company with no experience whatsoever. He continued his rapid-fire monologue, jumping from one topic to another without clear connections. He's actually spent real time with them, sort of. I was saying he's the blue-collar billionaire, and 15 years ago when I said it, people used to caw all over me what are you talking about? You don't understand. And now they understand. The borders are... wrote the article. It wasn't even was the same publication, it was the same journalist. I'm this. You like to literally save democracy. It's literally at risk, Jay. This erratic and disorganized speech pattern quickly set off alarm bells across social media. Many viewers were left wondering what could be behind such strange behavior. While I'm not outright suggesting that Donald Trump Jr. was on drugs, his conduct in this clip closely mirrors the behavior often exhibited by individuals under the influence of certain substances. It seems I'm not alone in this observation. The internet buzzed with speculation after the clip was released, with countless people questioning what might have caused Trump Jr. to act in such a way. The focus of the conversation quickly shifted from the content of the interview to the possibility that Trump Jr. was, indeed, on something. The responses to the video posted by Ron Filipkowski were both biting and telling. One commenter remarked, "Resting heart rate of 346, capturing the hyperactive energy radiating from Donald Trump Jr. during the interview." Another quipped, "This is what happens when cocaine interviews J.D. Vance," while yet another layered on the humor with, "When your cocaine is on crack and Red Bull." The punchlines kept coming, with someone creatively adding, "With great powder comes great responsibility." But amidst the humor, there was one comment that stood out for its gravity. "As a recovering addict and someone familiar with this state of mind, hear me when I say he hasn't slept in days. That crash is going to be rough when it hits." This observation struck a chord, highlighting the seriousness of the situation and lending weight to the growing concern surrounding Trump Jr.'s behavior. The reason this matters is the glaring double standard at play. For years, Donald Trump and many Republicans have relentlessly attacked President Biden's son, Hunter, over his struggles with addiction. They've used Hunter's past as a political weapon, constantly bringing up his history with drugs. Hunter Biden's on drugs, they say over and over again.
But have we ever seen a video of Hunter Biden where he looks like Donald Trump Jr. did in that clip? No, we haven't. Unless you're someone with access to his infamous laptop, which is another story altogether. What's clear is that something was off with Trump Jr. in that interview. This isn't how he typically behaves, even in his more energetic moments. Something was undeniably wrong, and it's hard to ignore the hypocrisy in how this is being treated compared to the ongoing narrative about Hunter Biden. It's not unusual to see Donald Trump Jr. in a high-energy animated state. He's known for that. But we've also seen him in interviews where he's more subdued, where he doesn't exhibit the same erratic behavior. It's not an every-time occurrence, but it happens frequently enough to raise eyebrows. This kind of inconsistency could suggest that something else is at play, something that might explain why he's sometimes so over the top and other times more controlled. Now, I'm not outright saying that he's on something, but I'm also not ruling it out. There's definitely something odd about how he was acting during that interview. And if we're going to scrutinize Hunter Biden's past, then it's only fair that we give the same level of attention to Donald Trump Jr. After all, the clip of him with J.D. Vance isn't how a typical person behaves. It's hard to watch without wondering what's really going on. I couldn't help but feel a bit sorry for J.D. Vance, who just had to sit there, awkward and sheepish, as Trump Jr. rambled on in a way that made it impossible for him to get a word in edgewise. It was a bizarre spectacle, to say the least. These are exactly the kind of moments that the Harris campaign should consider spotlighting. The Trump family has spent years trying to paint the Biden family in a negative light. Maybe it's time to turn the tables. If it's fair game for them, it's fair game for us. I say, let's put that clip out there and let people see for themselves what's really going on. But still, many are curious about the relationship between J.D. Vance and Donald Trump Jr. What was their friendship like before this interview? Let's explore their background and connections. With Donald Trump choosing J.D. Vance, the junior senator from Ohio, as his vice presidential running mate, it seems that Donald Trump Jr.'s friendship with Vance may have played a significant role in that decision. Their relationship appears to have begun a few years ago, around the time Vance was gearing up for his Ohio Senate run in 2021. During this period, Vance and Donald Trump met, with Don Jr. also present. This meeting likely helped spark their close friendship and marked a notable shift from Vance's earlier public criticism of Trump. Prior to Trump's 2016 presidential election, Vance had been outspoken about his dislike for Trump. Some might speculate that Vance's friendship with Don Jr. was a strategic move on his part. In a July 2021 interview with Time magazine, Vance acknowledged Trump's influence, stating that, despite his past reservations, he needed to support Trump to align with his own values. Nevertheless, Trump Jr. seems to regard Vance as a genuine friend. In a statement to the New York Times, Don Jr. mentioned, "In the world of politics, you make a lot of acquaintances, but there are very few actual friends. J.D. has become a close friend of mine." Their bond appears to be strong, with the two reportedly in touch almost every day. Don Jr. likes Vance's way with words, and Vance likes Don Jr.'s look. Donald Trump Jr. seems to have a genuine admiration for J.D. Vance's eloquence and public presence. He notably appreciated Vance's 2016 memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, which explores his family's experiences and the challenges faced by white working-class individuals in Appalachia. Don Jr. was also impressed by Vance's vocal support for his father in the media, particularly how effectively Vance defended Trump on various platforms. This public display of loyalty appears to have cemented Vance's standing with the Trump family. After a period of time and visible support, any previous tensions or differences seem to have been set aside, emphasizing the importance of political alliances and loyalty. When asked by CNN at the Republican National Convention about his father's choice of Vance as his vice presidential running mate and whether he had any influence in the decision, Don Jr. praised Vance's articulate defense of Trump. "I've seen him on TV. I've seen him prosecute the case against the Democrats. I think no one's more articulate than that," he remarked. This indicates that, while Trump Jr. values his friendship with Vance, he also considers his articulate support crucial for his father's campaign. Their friendship is so close that it has led to some playful speculation. A friend from Vance's law school days even remarked that Vance's beard and slicked-back hairstyle make him resemble Don Jr., raising the question of whether this is a case of imitation as flattery. Don Jr. has helped boost Vance's career. J.D. Vance's connection with Donald Trump Jr. has proven to be more than just a friendship. It has significantly influenced his political trajectory. Early in 2022, Don Jr. took to X to defend Vance from allegations of his past criticism of Trump. In a post, Don Jr. stated, "Enough with the lies being told about this guy," signaling his support for Vance despite earlier reports of Vance's negative stance toward Trump. By this time, Vance had notably shifted his position and received Donald Trump's endorsement for the Ohio Senate seat. Don Jr.'s support for Vance extended beyond defense, actively promoting him as a prime candidate for vice president. Just days before Donald Trump made his official running mate announcement, Don Jr. shared another endorsement of Vance on X. This move led many to speculate that Vance was the favored choice for the VP slot. However, not everyone agrees with this selection. Critics argue that Don Jr.'s personal relationship with Vance might have clouded his judgment regarding the best candidate for the party. One commenter suggested, "It's JR's hunting friend, so instead of considering other potential candidates like Carson or Tulsi, he's pushing a friend who may not necessarily be the best fit for the role." This perspective highlights concerns that personal connections might be influencing key political decisions rather than purely merit-based considerations.
As the speculation swirls around Donald Trump Jr.'s behavior during his interview with J.D. Vance, it raises significant questions about how personal issues might impact public perception and political decisions. Whether it's Don Jr.'s possible drug use or the influence of personal relationships on political endorsements, there's a lot to unpack. What are your thoughts on this rumor? Share your opinions in the comments below. If you want to stay updated on the latest developments and get more insights into the world of politics and beyond, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.